Well, I think it's great that Americans are able to choose one or the other. We live in a land that you can choose same-sex marriage or opposite marriage. And you know what? In my country,
Did she lose it right there? Carrie Pageant came in second in this weekend's Miss USA pageant. Does she think that answer cost her the crown? Do you?
I do. I do.
You knew when he was going to ask Perez Hilton, a gay rights advocate, did you think that would be, a question like that would come from him?
I didn't think a question that controversial would be asked at Miss USA.
Tell us what were your thoughts when he asked you that question. I understand from our Willie Geist, who was a judge, the judges were allowed to choose their questions of their liking, and that was the one he wanted to ask.
Right, and I was ready for a question that might have been controversial. But as soon as I had picked his name out of the bucket of questions, they immediately turned to Perez Hilton and said, ask your question. And from there, as soon as he immediately opened his mouth, I said, uh-oh, this might be going in the wrong direction. He asked me the question, I started talking and I said, should I be politically correct or should I follow my heart and follow what's right to myself and my beliefs? And I said, you know what? I'm laying it out on the table. This is who I am and this is what I believe and I'm going to stand by what I believe.
I pray for you and I feel sorry for you. And if you're watching right now, I love you regardless. As Christians, we're called to love everybody.
Really?
I do.
Carrie Pageant will be a featured speaker at a meeting hosted by the National Organization for Marriage in Washington, D.C. This group is unveiling its new television ad this afternoon. And Pageant defended her decision to speak at the event on the Today Show.
Conservative forces are already sounding the alarm that if you love America, if you love your freedom, you better watch out for gay marriage. The gay marriage monsoon, it's coming, complete with dark skies and lightning, all that stuff. We should all be afraid, be very afraid of ads like this.
There's a storm gathering.
The clouds are dark and the winds are strong.
And I am afraid.
Some who advocate for same-sex marriage have taken the issue far beyond same-sex couples.
They want to bring the issue into my life.
My freedom will be taken away.
I'm a California doctor who must choose between my faith and my job.
I'm part of a New Jersey church group punished by the government because we can't support same-sex marriage.
I'm a Massachusetts parent, helplessly watching public schools teach my son that gay marriage is okay.
Do you acknowledge that the ad is dark and scary and paints this picture of this gathering storm?
Well, I think there is a gathering storm. Unless we act to protect marriage, we're going to see more and more moves to overturn the will of the people.
And there are some new poll numbers just released this hour. One of the largest and most detailed surveys of American attitudes towards gay rights. Now, one of the findings, a majority of Americans, 56%, now say the ban on openly gay men and women in the military should be repealed. Joining me from Washington, D.C. is Peter Brown, Assistant Director for Quinnipiac University Polling Institute. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Tamara.
So before we get into some more of these numbers here, Peter, let's talk about the setup. This is the most extensive research done in a long time, right?
It is. We think it's one of the most extensive ever done. Did over 2,000 interviews, which is double the size of most national polls. We asked about a variety of gay rights questions. As you headlined, yes, Americans think that openly gay people should be able to serve in the military. That's obviously a change from 15 years ago when it was a big issue when President Clinton wanted to do that. But there are some other very interesting things.
Let's talk about same-sex marriage. I mean, we're waiting on Carrie Pageant. That's the young lady who was a runner-up in the Miss USA pageant. This topic has made her an instant celebrity because of her views. What are the views from the polling that you've seen from Americans on same-sex marriage?
The National Organization for Marriage is itself notable for not having in their name the phrase, "We mean just straight people's marriages." The National Organization for Straight-Only Marriage is running a new multi-million-dollar ad campaign warning about how scary it is for gay people's relationships to have legal recognition. Here's a little bit of the ad.
There's a storm gathering.
The clouds are dark and the winds are strong.
And I am afraid.
Spooky, right? Spooky. Human Rights Campaign has done a good job refuting some of the gay marriage ruined my life stories that are in the ad, but they've also gone one better. somehow obtaining video footage of the people who applied to pretend that they were straight people who had been somehow hurt by gay marriage. These folks have been referred to elsewhere today as actors. I'm going to withhold judgment here and just let you make that call.
Okay. There is a storm gathering.
The clouds are dark and the winds are strong.
I am afraid, and I am afraid.
Some who advocate for same-sex marriage have taken the issue
Far beyond same-sex couples. The storm is coming, but we have hope.
A rainbow coalition of people of every creed,
And color are coming together in love to protect marriage.
We do not know how Human Rights Campaign got access to the audition tapes, but because they did, we do know that pretending to be a straight person hurt by gay marriage is apparently very, very challenging.
Now, Miss California is addressing the issue again this afternoon. In a few hours, the Miss USA runner-up, Carrie Pageant, will speak at a meeting hosted by the National Organization for Marriage in Washington, D.C. The group is unveiling its new TV ad this afternoon. Pageant defended her decision to speak at the event on the Today Show. And joining me live from Washington, D.C. is Marianne Akers, political reporter for WashingtonPost.com and the author of the blog, The Sleuth on WashingtonPost.com. Marianne, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
So Carrie Pageant, we interviewed her when she was in studio here, and was she always this vocal on this issue, or is this an opportunity for her to step into this big debate?
I don't know that she was so vocal on the issue. When I went back and reviewed, it did seem that she really hesitated before answering that question. She was a bit tongue-twisted before she answered. I mean, just showing how she knew this was a hot-button issue. She went ahead and answered it the way she did, in defense of marriage between one man and one woman. Right. And now clearly she's going to be the really, she's going to be the Anita Bryant of the 21st century.
This organization, National Organization for Marriage, what is the organization? And contestant made a point, she's not married.
Well, the organization, right, of course she's not married because the contestants cannot be married. This organization clearly is spending a lot of money, $1.5 million, I believe it is, on this ad campaign. Same-sex
I want to
marriage.
play the ad real quick. This is a part of it that we have from the National Organization for Marriage. Let's play it.
These folks have been referred to elsewhere today as actors. I'm going to withhold judgment here and just let you make that call.
I believe that a marriage should be between a man and a woman. No offense to anybody out there, but that's how I was raised, and that's how I think that it should be between a man and a woman.
She is immediately attacked.
She's a dumb okay?
When a pro-marriage group expresses concerns about how same-sex marriage will impact religious groups, they are called liars and bigots.
It's no longer palatable.
Will she be relatable beyond the base that wants to hear this message? I mean, she's young, she's energetic. I mean, when she was here, Marianne, she stood her ground.
Right, and she's articulate, she's young, and she's pretty, and
is he giving you an impossible task?
You knew when he was going to ask Perez Hilton, a gay rights advocate, did you think that would be a question like that would come from him?
I didn't think a question that controversial would be asked at Miss USA.
Tell us what were your thoughts when he asked you that question. I understand from our own Willie Geist, who was a judge, the judges were allowed to choose their questions of their liking, and that was the one he wanted to ask.
Right, and I was ready for a question that might have been controversial, but as soon as I had picked his name out of the bucket of questions, they immediately turned to Perez Hilton and said, ask your question. And from there, as soon as he immediately opened his mouth, I said, uh-oh, this might be going in the wrong direction.
But I guess this has given you a great deal of notoriety, and I know you have your core values and principles, but in this day and age, these kind of views, we're told, are not politically correct. These are not the modern views.
And that's something that I really need to think about. Am I trying to be politically correct, or do I want to be biblically correct? And I think that I want to be biblically correct. I was attacked for giving my own opinion on stage at a Miss USA contest, and I'm going to do whatever it takes, Matt, to protect marriage. It's something that is very dear to my heart, and I'm just here to protect it. That's all I'm here to do.
In response, the producers and co-executive directors of the Miss California USA pageant issued this statement, quote, "We are deeply saddened Carrie Prejean has forgotten her platform of the Special Olympics, her commitment to all Californians, and solidified her legacy as one that goes beyond the rights to voice her beliefs and instead reveals her opportunistic agenda."
As he was asking me the question, I just had a smile on my face, and as soon as I began to talk, I said in my head, God, this is where you need to show up. Show up right here. And that's where I just said, you know what? Go for it.
Okay.
Speak your mind, speak your thoughts, and don't be ashamed. And I think that I was the one that was blessed enough to get this question. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed.
I'm laying it out on the table. This is who I am, and this is what I believe, and I'm going to stand by what I believe.